record something about it. Well, hello everyone. I looked and I'm on the middle of the night and my eyes are full of makeup, but respect for just think about then I did 5 hours on a bus and I'm working already. I worked yesterday. But nothing makes me jump out of the bed more than meeting someone as Denise. So I always ask my guests to present themselves because nobody tells better your story than you. So do you want to tell who you are, where are you from, and a little bit, warm up a little bit our conversation?
Sure. First of all, Rita, thanks for having me on your show. It's an honor. I just love your energy. You have beautiful energy, and it's always such a joy to be in it. So thank you for that as well. I'm Denise Garrett. I am a personal development coach. My background is I was a firefighter, and I happened to be the first female firefighter for my county. And that led to a lot of adventures, some very pleasant, some not so much. But anyway, who I am is still up to debate. You know, I think I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Is probably the best way to describe that. But ultimately, what I would say is I am on a mission to help people heal the not enough conversation that they're engaged in and that the world seems engaged in. And I have reasons for that go back to my childhood, actually. And I grew up in a home where parents argued all the time, and they used words like they were World War III with missiles, you know. And as a child, I didn't want my parents to hurt, and they were hurting each other, and I couldn't stop it. And it made me feel like I was inadequate, not enough. And then when I got older, I realized, first of all, a lot of that was inappropriate. It wasn't healthy. But then I also realized that the pain they inflicted on each other came from their own sense of not enough. And I got really curious about that and how its connection to violence. And when I say violence, my parents never like threw things or hit each other or anything like that. Theirs was verbal, but verbal, as we all know, words have effect. They have a powerful impact on us. But I just got curious about it. So then I went on to become a firefighter, and I worked calls where we never knew what happened afterwards necessarily. Like, you know, we respond to the emergency and we don't know really what happened, but sometimes those calls involve situations like domestic violence or something like that. And I always felt like there was more we could do. So that led me to become a clinical social worker. I went back and got my master's of social work and was in private practice for a number of years. But even back then, I would tell people I'm not a traditional therapist because I have this thing about labels. So if I label you with a diagnosis, oftentimes people live up to their labels. And I didn't want to stick anybody with a label that made them smaller. So when I look at people, I go, you know, hey, if I put myself in their shoes, given their environment that they were raised in, or their environment now, whatever it happens to be, given their unique background, history, personality, I might be in the same situation they're in. Like I might be feeling the way they are, acting the way they are, all that stuff. So I really don't think there's anything wrong with most people. Like there's nothing really wrong. It's just they have problems. Who doesn't? And they don't know how to get from where they are right now to where they'd rather be. And so I saw very early on that my job is to help people get from where they are to where they want to be. And the best way to do that is not by giving them a label from the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual necessarily. There's a place for it. So I'm not saying there's not, but it's really more about like just listening, like where are you and where do you want to be and how can I help you get there? And because of that approach, I really was what they now call a life coach. I call it personal development coach, but long before there was even such a thing, because I switched to that coaching model, which that's what a coach does. A coach looks at somebody and says, hey, you've got these strengths, you've got these weaknesses. This is your goal. This is your mission. So my job as a coach is to bring out the best in you and help you address the weaknesses so that you can perform the best or get the results that you say you want, you know, or that we want as a team. So anyway, enough about that.
It's Oh, beautiful. Because as a coach, whatever you coach, it needs to be a sense of really observation of your coachee, of the person that is there. And I feel that if I was a coach some years ago, I had too much ego. Not that I'm free of ego, but I had too much ego, and I did not have the maturity to observe and really see. I always say then my gift is looking to you in a way that you don't look to yourself, like is obviously, and wrap, put a beautiful bow or whatever we want. It feels of minimalist kind of, and bring your story to life. And we are talking in 2 seconds. If I use tapping, I use tapping in some people, but not in all. And I use it because majority of the reasons why my coaches don't get results is they get stuck on the perfection. Oh, my product is not perfect enough, my offer is not perfect enough, and it's just fear. I like the quote to say, fear, perfection is just fear in another outfit. And I found out then people who have that kind of feelings or blocks really normally work well with tapping. And I start tapping for myself, and I start using, and it's the cool thing of tapping is like it's really difficult going wrong. So you never do a mistake. The worst thing can happen is doing nothing. But so how many years are you on that journey? And I see you have a firefighter shirt. How do you call it? Okay, I don't know exactly what is the name. It's not a shirt, it's a long sleeves probably. Are you still a firefighter? I love the New York. I can sit and listen to your stories for sure with my mouth open, because must be, it's so, my name, my mom's name, my surname is Brave, is Valente. Valente means brave in Portuguese. And I always found myself super brave. I am a warrior. I don't want to be a warrior anymore. I want to live. I don't want to be a survivor anymore. I want to live. But I am a tough cookie. I go for it. I'm that kind of people who take ownership of the result with no clue how she's going to get results. But I will never, I don't think I will ever have the courage to do what you did or what you're still doing.
I don't do it anymore. Yeah, it's, I think the fascinating thing here is that we're all of it. We're all of the messy stuff. We're all of the nasty stuff. We're all of the beautiful and brilliant stuff. It's like, I think of us like we're this beautiful piano with all these keys, and they're all there for a reason. So in my experience working with, so I've worked a lot with men and women, and so women tend to shy away from anger. Men don't have a problem expressing their anger. Unfortunately, sometimes they do it in ways that are scary for people, and that becomes a problem. So, but women not expressing anger is not healthy either. So for me, it's like we're all of it. Like, you know, like I can be snarky, I can be petty, I can be
What
kind.
is snarky? I don't know what is snarky. What is snarky?
It's like petty. It's like I can, you know, make little snips at someone. Like, you know, I could do that. I could judge them, you know, like this person's this or that, like in a non-flattering way, right? So we're all of that. Like, and the more I own it and I'm okay with it, it puts me in a point of choice. And that's where the power is. I choose to be kind. I choose to be generous. I choose to be loving. Because if I can own that sometimes I can be angry or gossipy or whatever, and then I say, you know what, I choose not to do that. I choose to be this instead. So every moment becomes a choice of me just choosing. How do I, Denise, choose to be right here, right now, in this moment? And
Power of choice is taking responsibility.
Right. Like for years, I played victim, and I came across a teaching that talked about it's victim, rescuer, persecutor, and it's a dance. I call it the drama triangle. And we all, once you're on that triangle, you can't get off. Like, it's a vicious game. So if I'm the victim and you don't rescue me, then I make you the persecutor. If I'm the rescuer and you're not happy with the way I rescued you, I become your persecutor. And it just goes on and on and on, like around the circle. If I'm a persecutor, then obviously you see me as like a bully. So you put me, like, I put you in the victim role, right? So when I realized the way to happiness and peace was to get off that triangle, just to take personal responsibility. Like, I'm not responsible for some of the bad things that happened to me.
No, but
like,
you can decide.
But I get to choose how I respond. I get to choose whether it defines my life or not. And like, when I say define, like hold me back or not, and when I just said, you know what, enough's enough. Like, I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of the hurt. I'm tired of listening to myself whine and complain. I just want to be happy. That's it. I want to be happy and at peace. So then I started disengaging from the drama, and I would go, what's my role in this? And when I could ask that question and get honest with myself about it, like, I'm thinking of like relationships. We've all had relationship drama, at least I think.
Oh, whatever.
And so when I would say, maybe my responsibility was I made a bad choice in who I selected to spend my life with during that time. Maybe that was it. Maybe my responsibility was there were plenty of yellow flags and red flags that were sending all these warning signals.
And
but
you
I
stay there.
Right. Maybe I ignored them and I stayed. And maybe that was my role. It takes me out of victim, and it makes me say, okay, I missed some things, or I chose some things that weren't healthy for me. And now, again, I'm going back to right now. I choose not that. I choose something healthier, something better for me now. And once I start doing that, even with no evidence that it's actually possible for me, once I start doing that, the better thing starts happening. It's just fascinating to me.
It's where we focus. Where we focus. But I need to say something. It's two moments. One is the moment when we are the victim. And I still believe it's not a game that I play often, but I play it. But then is another moment where we become mad with ourselves for being on the situation. And I will say, like, the biggest issue on my life on the last 7 years, and now that I'm trying to heal, was I was living something, then I was not happy. And one part of me was keeping me there. And the other part of me started growing so mad with myself. And it sounds like I'm bipolar. Maybe I am, but it's not that. Like, one part of me was so upset, was so shouting, like, go away, whatever, you are going to die here. And the way then I start bridging both was writing love letters to myself.
Beautiful.
And it's really curious because my birth name is Anna Rita. And I always found in Anna, my side of Anna is so cute and sweet. And you always get, and Rita can be nasty and can be start saying, you don't do that. And I was always like, I'm a person pleaser. I want everyone to love me. Even if I know it's not possible. And today I'm 41, I really don't care what the majority of people think about me. It's not important. They don't pay my bills. They don't like, okay, means then their life is so terrible, then they need to spend time thinking about me. How amazing that is. But I found in between being a victim, what is a place of less power, because when you are a victim, all the other ones have the power and you don't. But then you have a second moment or other moment, they don't need to coexist. Then you are met with yourself and no self-love. You need to go in a deep self-love journey to make them in love again.
Right. I think about when we ran calls where women were raped, and that's not their fault ever. It's not your fault. And the women felt more comfortable with me because I was female than my male colleagues. And as a rookie, I didn't know everything I needed to know yet to be really helpful. So sometimes my job was simply to go in and build the bridge between them and my brothers, so that my brothers who had the training and expertise could render the aid that they really needed. But I understood, and like, that's no one's fault. And inevitably, later I learned as I changed careers that they blame themselves.
Oh yeah.
They blame themselves. And
I was raped. And we all blame ourselves. We all ask ourselves why I did not do this. And it's a stigma, and it's such a scary thing, because you believe then I will never be happy. And when you are again having sexual relations with someone, you feel that terrible guilty because you are having pleasure and supposedly that was taken away from you. This is a much deep conversation, but it is really interesting to see then the sometimes the event have less power of the consequence of after. Right. Like the way then we handle the rest of our life. So if we are in love again, and we are having sex, and we are enjoying, and we are orgasming, and then that little animal inside of your head comes and say, nah, you are not allowed to this. Why?
I don't claim to know the answer to that. The why.
Me either. I just want to leave the question.
I can say partly is, I think some of it's societal, like it's going to sound really harsh, and I don't mean it to sound so harsh, but so if a man devalues a woman who's lost her virginity, then women start to devalue themselves, historically. So if a man devalues a woman who's been raped, historically, women will devalue themselves for having been raped, which is stupid. Because
I was abused when I was 12, and it took me, I was 36 or 37 when I realized this is such a freak out thing. I was abused. My family put the guilty on me. We are talking about a man of 32 years old versus a girl of 12. What are the distance? Now, then I have kids with 21. I just want to slap on the face everyone who's involved. Not necessarily just him, everyone. Like, I remember then my stepmother, I have no mom, my mom did die already, called me a whore. And if I think on that, and I see a 12 years old girl, it's a rage, because the damage then she did to me, calling me that, was much bigger than what he did to me, because he abused me, but it was not the thing. Then I was in pain, I was beaten against the wall, because rape have many different ways to be made, right? And I realized, and this is funny, because I knew I had a problem with money. I knew I had a block on money. And I started doing meditations and trying to understand that I always did think it was related to my mom's dying so early. And then one day to the other, I was watching a documentary about a similar story. And like, I cannot explain to you. I knew this story forever, but it's like the colors change. So the green is not green anymore, it's brown or whatever. And I was like, oh, this did happen to me. And nobody did that, nothing, no, worse. Worse.
Yeah.
I remember my dad saying to me, I don't trust you anymore. This was in his house, right? And I love my dad today, but I need to say, as a mother now, I always have a theory. I believe then I travel in time many times, and I go and I hug the little one. I knew it. I was going to be emotional. I'm on my period, so this don't help as well. But it is super interesting to see how many boyfriends and in love I was constantly, and I was constantly getting the attention of men because that was what makes me feel that I was important. So the comment, the episodes, the comment of my family made the damage on me so much bigger than thank God I found it already. And I can talk about this. Because if something that I have is I'll talk about all shit, then it comes up. Because someone needs to do. Someone needs to take out the, oh no, everything is good and everything is perfect. No. And I don't know any beautiful, strong woman or man who are beautiful and strong who did not have a tough journey. And more people I meet as you, more I realize then the best ones are the ones who had a tough journey. The best coaches then you can have is the ones who can relate to your pain.
I think like the sad thing, I know you felt rage when they didn't believe you, or they called you names.
I felt rage. I felt very sad on the moment, but I felt rage when I was adult.
I felt heartbroken hearing that. And unfortunately, that's a common reaction in families, and it breaks my heart. When I was in graduate school doing an internship, a woman brought me her 12-year-old daughter. I wasn't comfortable working with kids. That wasn't what I was trained to do in grad school, but my supervisor came and said, I have a case and I would like for you to take a shot at it. It involves a 12-year-old who was abused by her father, sexually abused by her father. And I said, my supervisor's name was Patty. And I was like, Patty, I feel like that's out of my,
Right.
but if you'll supervise me closely and you really think I can help, I'm happy to try to help, And she said yes. And so anyway, I worked with this kid, and I was so proud of the mom because the mom believed without any hesitation. She never made her daughter feel bad or wrong or less than or anything. And I realized in that moment, like as I'm working with them, how remarkable that was. And that is so sad. It's so sad that women feel so dependent on men that they will ignore the possibility or truth that a man abused a young girl or a child.
Oh no. And worse, they say is your how I remember them to say this is your fault. I never did kiss a boy when I was 12.
Yeah. Same similar thing with the Catholic Church, how they're aware that there's a problem there. And instead of addressing it head on, they just move the priest to another
place to start all over again.
It's like, so you're perpetuating the problem rather than just saying, we have a problem that needs to be addressed. And I think in society in general, back to your like, why does this happen? I don't know, but I think some of it has to do with the way that the imbalance of power. And I'm not trying to like make all men bad and wrong, because they're not. Trust me, my firefighter brothers and sisters, I met some really great, well, I was the only female, but I've met some really great men in my life. I've been fortunate. But the societal norm is that men are in the positions of power and women are subservient. And men seem to be threatened by women who get in positions of power.
Oh, yeah.
And so a lot of the things like what we're talking about here, I can't help but think has some thread that goes back to that dynamic.
Yeah.
Women have come far, not far enough yet, but far.
But we are rushing, like something is going on. Something is a shift on the last couple of years. And I'm going to say, I feel COVID as well brought that in. kind of how Second War brought women to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know then we have a big journey in front. Another funny thing, interesting thing is I was having this conversation yesterday. So when I was a techno DJ, when I became a techno DJ, techno is a very close boys club where you need to dress black, and they even try to convince me to shave my head because I was too pretty for techno. I could not be taken serious. And I changed my name because I had a Playboy cover some years ago and I was scared what the industry will think about me because my music is not enough. What is bullshit? And I found out that I was living on my male energy. And that can be so exhausting for us women as well, because we are teach then, or we are sexy, and we dress sexy and we show up our curves. So we use high heels or we use makeup or we do, and we are dumb. Or you cannot be a badass woman doing what we do and be all the other things at the same time. And with that comes as well so many limitations about how much money women are allowed to do.
Yeah, like, so funny you mentioned that. So I have a friend who is younger, is considerably younger than me, and she had the fairy tale dream that most little girls do of meeting her Prince Charming and getting married and, living in the castle, so to speak. And she kept meeting a lot of jerks, like when she was dating, just like guys that just, I don't know, they didn't treat her the way she deserved to be treated. That's how. And at one point she was getting tight on money and she was concerned about things. And I said, well, I know you spend a lot of money getting your hair done and your makeup and on your makeup, and like on your outfits and things. And I'm not judging. I think that makes you happy. That's fine. But I'm just curious to know, have you ever considered how much he spends on getting ready for your date? Because to me, that's an indicator. Like if he shows up in a t-shirt and blue jeans and you're dressed to the nines and you're all dolled up, that to me says that he doesn't value you. Like that's a big flag right there that says he doesn't value you.
Or is not so important for him. Can be as well.
Could be. But for you to go to all that trouble and for him to seemingly go to so little, I don't know. That seems somehow wrong to me. But if he treats you well and he makes you happy, and the key thing is, does he treat you well? Then okay. The only way you're going to know is to have that first date. But it's fascinating to me that a lot of women spend so much money doing their best to do the things you talked about, like making sure your hair is pretty and your makeup's done perfect.
Not like this.
And all that. And it costs money. And it's money that men don't have
to time, not just money. I hate to be on the hairdresser. Do you imagine? You have short hair, lucky you. Imagine spending 3 hours on the hairdresser. I get anxious. I have things to do.
Right. So it's just another way. I wonder sometimes if that's how men keep their positions of power and keep women in a financial less than position. And I'm not blaming like men. I think it's like a societal thing at this point.
It's inside of them. Is on their ADN, how do you say, on genetic programmation. But in another way, what is really interesting is to observe what we call normal lucky men. So white men for a good background, so no minorities, men. It's really interesting to see the majority of them cannot handle any level of insecurity or stress what us, men from minorities, we can all do it. Like they get stressed so much easier. They get anxious so much easier. They get, and another thing is they don't understand what is to be a minority, or like in our case, we even are talking about minorities, but we are lucky and we are in privileged zone. I have a funny story. I grew up in Africa. I grew up in a little tiny island in the equator, ex-colony of Portugal, named São Tomé e Príncipe, in cocoa farm. So I can talk hours about cocoa and coffee, and I feel that is amazing. I love it. But I was the only white child on 130,000 people, and I was the weird one. I did not understand why my color was that, and my friends. Not that I had a lot of friends because I was homeschooling, but the other boys, the other girls were different. I used to be beaten on the street. That did happen 1-2 times because I was white, because my hair was different. And I have a huge soft spot when I see, especially in America. Like I was watching on the bus yesterday, I was watching a movie about 92, when is all the problems that it was in California. And we are so lucky already, but the majority of white men, they are lucky. What I feel is lucky don't come with happiness. I always say I'm a happy person because I lost so much so early. So I enjoy each little thing. I cannot explain to you how happy I was before our call. I went to the other side of the road. I just arrived yesterday, it was night. I went to the other side of the road, was this French bakery. And I bought, not that I needed to eat, but I bought a pain au chocolat and bread with chocolate and a cappuccino with almond milk. Then in Yucatan, I could never have because I cannot eat cow milk. And I was happy, living the moment, and I was enjoying. Then I asked, do you have cinnamon? There's canela. And she dropped some canela, and I was like seeing the white. It sounds so stupid, but I was seeing the white from the milk with the canela, and I was smelling the cinnamon. And I was like, wow, this makes me feel good. And I think the secret of happiness is enjoying the moment, being grateful for the moment. I don't know why I'm talking so much. This is your podcast.
It's your podcast, it's our podcast. No, I love what you said about this morning, because it's like, I know my sweetie doesn't drink coffee, so never understands this. But when I have a really good cup of coffee in the mornings, I am so ecstatic. It's like, it's just the best thing, it's like, oh my God, this cup of coffee is so good. And what a great way to start my day. And I just get so much joy from it. And, I don't know, I just love it. And there's no way for me to explain it. It just brings that much joy, that much happiness. And if you're a fellow coffee drinker, you might understand it. You maybe can connect. But it's like, I have cups some mornings, and it's strange. I try to make it the same way every day. But some mornings it's just so much better than others. And when I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing. But I do think the more we can be happy with those simple things in life, that the happier we are, and the more grateful we are, the happier we are. Because like, I think back to the people who lost everything in a fire, and the number one thing that once everybody's okay and they know that all their loved ones are okay, you know what they miss the most?
Photos.
Yeah, and what do those photos represent?
Memories.
Yeah. And so once I figured that out, I would try to say, you may not have the photo, but you have the memory for life.
Yeah.
You have to like capture them differently now. But like, to me, that said a lot, like that taught me a lot about how to live life. Because it's like, I watch these people lose everything, and they're just, the number one thing they're grateful for is that their loved ones are okay. That's it. And so for me, when the hard times come, and they do for all of us, seemingly, when they come, it's like, well, am I okay? Or are my loved ones okay? Because if they are, things really aren't that bad.
no. And I
Might feel bad. They might not be going the way I want them to go. They might not be going the way I want them to go as fast as I want them to go. I'm famous for that one. But
oh, me too. High five to that. What is your sign? What is your
I'm a
sign?
Taurus.
Of course you are. Okay. I'm a Sagittarian. So we operate on the same, yeah. Okay.
So no, it's those simple things. Like we have 2 dogs, and I love watching them. I love watching them play. I love watching them sleep. I love watching them explore something new. I love watching kids do the same thing. Like the baby. Well, we have young ones in our family. Again, it's great, but I love watching them. Like just their curiosity at the world and the little things that delight them. So I learned years ago when my father was diagnosed with stage 4 multiple myeloma, bone marrow cancer. I love my dad. He could be a difficult man sometimes, but I loved him wholeheartedly. And when I would get really, really sad about what we were going through as a family, especially what he was going through, I would look at pictures of puppies online, pictures of babies online. When I would hit really, really sad moments, I would go to playgrounds to listen to children laugh. And then I would go to like puppy meet and greets where they have puppies up for adoption, not intending to adopt because I didn't have any business with everything on my plate, but just to get the love, and the lightness that they brought into my world. And through that experience, I ended up adopting a dog. That's a whole different story. But it's those simple things that can bring so much joy, even in our darkest moments, that I do my best to focus on. And it doesn't mean that I don't have pity parties, because I do. I get on that, oh my gosh, life is so bad for me. This is so horrible. Thankfully, I catch myself fairly quickly and say, this isn't who I choose to be. Or if I feel like I'm stuck in it, I have a best friend that I call and say, this is what's going on. This is why I'm feeling so sorry for myself. And she'll give me a time limit based on what's going on. She'll say, okay, you got 15 minutes to get over this.
I have a tactic, maybe will work for you. When I'm in that kind of mood, I set up a timer to go to bed and cry.
That's
and I literally set up a timer.
Yeah.
You have 1 hour and a half to cry your shit out. And how soon that happens, you start feeling so ridiculous. Because the thing with me was, I grew up the beautiful thing is, I grew up in an island. My parents had money, but on the beginning, I was born in 80, so we moved there in 81. And the thing was, money had no value, so we had nothing. Meaning, we had the house, we had people working for us, but you had no toy shop, you had no chocolate shop, you had cacao. What is not chocolate? Please don't mix out. People go and buy cacao, convince them it's chocolate, and they have a terrible experience. So, and I grew up with money, but nothing. And each time did arrive a chocolate, like the plane on the beginning came 1 time a month. Each time it arrived a chocolate was like a party, or the big cheap cheese that is like a bowl. I don't even know if you have that in the United States. Everyone comes alone and everyone sits and that for me is smiling. And my ex-husband used to say, I don't understand why you always smile and make fun of yourself. Because I'm an achiever. And I'm not going to allow the things, putting my ego and my needy of, sometimes is a problem of state as well. Yesterday, I arrived with pain in my head, pain in my lower back from my period, pain in my back, my belly looks pregnant of 7 months. And I was tired, I was grumpy, I was working since 3 a.m. And I said, girl, just respect your body, take a warm shower and sleep. Because you are not that, it's just your body is saying to you, girl, is enough. So don't go that road. Tell me, what kind of offers do you have now?
So it's a good question.
It's important one.
The main thing I'm doing right now is a mastermind program where women, my business is Courageous Leadership Academy, but what I'm focused on is mastermind for women, because I want to empower women to, like I said, to overcome that not enough. And really underneath it all, it's fear. Like you touched on that earlier. I thought it was very profound and astute of you to get. Like underneath all of our stuff, when things are hurtful or painful or not going the way we want them to go, it's fear. It's fear driven. Like when you have an argument with your spouse, fear's involved. Somebody's afraid they're not going to get what they want. Somebody's afraid that they're not going to be valued. Somebody's afraid they're not respected.
Be judged, be misunderstood.
Right. And so in this mastermind, what I strive to do is I do have a proven systematic approach that will help women overcome that not good enough, that the fear that's underneath all of that messy stuff. So that after they finish the program, they literally have the tools they need it will show up. Like I can't not make it show up because I'm not in your head 24/7. So, and it's an internal thing. You have to catch yourself and you have to say, oh, like I told you earlier, it's about choice. Like, oh, there's that old familiar conversation. I'm not choosing this. Like, thank you for sharing. Now this is what we're going to focus on. And they develop these tools in the course, in the mastermind, and awareness that they don't have before they come in. So that when it comes up, first of all, it doesn't just necessarily drag them under. They're like, oh, there's that thing again. And they realize they have the choice. And then they have some tools to help them make the more life-affirming choice, if you will.
Do you think it's like that for me, I will never forget, and it was watching a talk from Joe Dispenza. It's not exactly sing is more meditation, but he was talking about something. It's such an obvious thing, but was such a game changer for me, is when you catch the little voice on your head, because it's always there. But if you become conscious of that voice, it's a different thing. When you know what is your heart voice, your brain voice, and that terrible voice who sometimes speak with you in a way, then you will never allow any other person to speak.
Yeah.
So you need to put it in the place.
It's also about, that voice is there to protect us.
Yeah, I was going that is
it is putting it in its place. It's like when we fought fires, and fires like can knock you on your ass, and you're like, I'm not taking that shit from it, so you stand up to it and you keep at it. Yeah, we need to check that voice, but we also need to understand that it's really there to protect us. And so then the question becomes, is this protective mode good for me? Because if I'm dealing with someone who's hurling abusive language at me, maybe it is a good idea to listen to that voice. But if it's, oh my God, I'm afraid to talk on this podcast because, people are going to judge me, and oh my God, I just don't think it's a good idea. I'm not really good at talking to people, man. I'm just, if it's that, then that doesn't serve me. And so when I catch it and go, there's that not good enough stuff showing up again. And no, you know what? I have an important message to share, and that's what I'm here to do. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm choosing to do now. That's the catch and shift. And I want to help as many women as possible make that shift, like become aware and make that shift. Because can you imagine what this world would look like if more women did that?
I'm on the journey. So my journey is basically your journey. So my journey is to amplify people as you, so you go and help much more people. It's like a root of the tree. I found people as you who are successful, who have a gift, because if you don't have a gift and you are not successful, you have no clue what you are going to coach, please God, I'm not your person. So skip. But if you have it, and you just have these roadblocks and you need to expand and you don't know what, then I'm going to do a very stupid analogy, but I'm your white, how do you say, the white, the charming prince, but it's not the white knight.
Shining armor.
And but I'm a girl, so I'm there to slap on the face all the fears, on a good way, obvious, and just push you, and push you with love, but push you with respect as well, but push you. Because one of the cool things I have on my different offers is, my friends, tell me how much you want to make or how many people you want to help in this amount of time. And if we agree between us, what I'm going to say is, okay, you pay for 3 months or you pay for 1 month, and we are going to work until you have that. So my guarantee, if we agree, obvious, is if you show up and I will be here to do the work, I will work with you until we achieve your goal. And I think it's perfect. It's perfect, because sometimes you say, okay, I want to have more 100 clients on the next three months. But then the fear starts, cramming around, and life happens. And so, okay, let's keep working. I can do that now. Probably in some months, in some 1 year or something, I cannot anymore. But now, and the only thing is, I need to be a person as you. Like I dress how do you call the jersey? I dress and I'm from your team. Is what I do. I deeply, like, in my life at this moment, money is great. I love money. I'm always into money. Money loves me, all that things. But nothing gives me more joy than my client Katie calling me the other day. We did some tapping on her because she had friends from real life there. She felt she could do an offer, but she was scared to lose the friends because she was doing the offer. And we tap, and last thing she said to me is like, I feel as a volcano now. So I said, okay, I have a call now, but you are going to do me a favor. You're going to ring your friends, and then you text me. And then I cannot explain to you, Denise. She texts me, and the first thing I hear was the sound of a bell ringing. And I start crying. And we are not talking a high ticket. We are talking a 500. But I start crying because I know she crossed that. And now it's done. It's broken. So that is my passion. That is what I do. That is my love. And that is what I'm, let me do some advertising to myself. That is what I'm offering to people if you want to do it as well. Like I'm doing this, what Rudy does as well with us. I'm doing this game plan for 12 weeks. It's a free thing. We just look into the business and see how it can grow. What is the story, how social media can grow more to bring more organic, because I found then it's a lot of potential on organic. Then many times when we start going to ads and paid ads, the organic gets a little bit lost. And then it happens a lot with coaches. Then they're making a lot of money, but their social media is not on point. And if you want to go to the next step, if you want to be on Forbes, if you want to be, I don't know if you want that, but if you want to start getting more mainstream and become the leader of your field, your social media needs to tell. I don't think you need to post every day, but your social media needs to be like a business card, gives a sense of who you are. And so I'm doing this game plan. So if I'm going to send a link for you. So this is for the other people. If you guys want to join, and I'm going to have, this is the first time I speak, 16 April, I'm starting, it's the pink moon. And I'm starting, I don't even know what it is, but it sounds good. I'm starting a 3 days challenge, viral Creatrix. And it's a 3 days challenge, is for free. And the game plans is part of a giveaway as well. And you have access to me through not WhatsApp, to Instagram messaging, and they can reach out to me because I'm still on the phase of creating. So all this energy comes to me. I want you to tell us, how can we find you?
So the best way to find me is go to courageousleadershipacademy.com. If you go there, if you scroll to a certain point, you'll have an opportunity to schedule a free one-on-one session with me. And when it comes to the mastermind, I mentioned that's a different link. So if that's something you're interested in, please just look me up on Facebook, Denise Garrett.
You are going to share the links with me so I can add to the description.
Yeah, so you can look up Courageous Leadership Academy. We have a page, and I'll make sure that the link to the mastermind is available there. And the mastermind, like you were mentioning, mine is you work with me, and if it doesn't work in 8 weeks, you get your money back.
Okay. It's a slightly different.
I believe in it that much and I've seen it, the system that I have help so many people that, if it doesn't work for you, you get no hassle. Just have to show you have to participate and show me that you put your good effort in it. But anyway, it's exciting. I hope I get to see you. It's been wonderful talking with you, Rita. You are absolutely lovely.
Thank you. I have started to believe, because so many people say that, Denise. So my idea when I started thinking about bringing this as a podcast was calibration, understanding calibration, because I took a decision. I was focusing artists and men and women and coaches and everything. And then I decided, with $500, I was doing tickets of $500. Before I won the mentorship from Hoodie, I did 85,000 in 5 months with $500 tickets. What is quite some money. Now, I just upgrade my game. My offers are not the end of the world for now. So I know I have a 21 days challenge when we have much more contact for launching. And that is like $1,500. And then I have a 3 months challenge that is $3,000 or $5,000 if you want my team to handle your social media, because I know that is a pain on the butt for many people. Tech is a pain on the butt for many people, and we are good. And what I do is I go deep. I found your story. We found how to tell it. And we bring organic. So, but I'm sending you a link for that in a second. And thank you so much. I start these podcastings for calibration, and I have been crying. I think it's more, but I allowed myself to be very raw here and tell things as private as I did. But even if I talk about social media and I'm really good on, I don't believe we need millions or thousands. I believe we need 2-3 people listen to this conversation. It can reach out to you for help, or 2-3 people listen to this conversation and can start creating a connection between me and them, and they start getting used to see these conversations and falling in love and knowing then they are not alone. We all have stories. And I have been living a crazy life. 4 weeks ago, I lost everything again in my life. I did not know how to build. And then in 24 hours, I sold my first 5K program. And do you remember I think I won 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, shit, this is possible. If you go from a place of a totally mental breakdown where I did not want to kill me, but my depression, my anxiety was guiding me to, in 3 weeks, make $80,000. Well done, girl.
Well done,
So
girl.
I'm really proud of me. And I share this unapologetic because I wanted the people to believe that it's possible. And with anxiety and with depression and with no family to support you and far away from my kids that I cannot talk with and all of that. So, but I'm inspired for people as you.
You're such a dear. So today, my hope is that our conversation helps at least one person.
Me too.
I know if we help just one person, that can lead to them helping 10 more. and those 10 helping 10 more, each of them, and it can grow. So that's always my prayers. If I can help one, I know in the end I will have helped many.
I wish I could hug you.
I wish I could hug you too, dear.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Denise.
Yeah.
I'm going to please let's text each other through Messenger.
Yes.
So we change, you send me your contact, you send me the links, I put on the guys, thank you so much for watching. Guys, ladies, I don't like the word guys. It's not that I have anything against guys, but powerful women, beautiful souls. Let's do like this. Beautiful souls. I hope you enjoyed this. And I see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wait.